A secret battle is brewing for the Walt Disney Company in 2024, which could have massive ramifications for the entertainment giant. Nobody is yet talking about this. But today in this video, we're going to bring to you one of the most dangerous things that could happen to the House of Mouse. And no, it has nothing to do with copyrights or trademarks. It has everything to do with Disney stock. And we'll show it to you right now. Hello, folks. Welcome back to the WDW Pro channel. So happy to have you. Happy New Year to one and all. And let's get straight to the thing that we do here, which is explaining entertainment, keeping you ahead of the culture curve. And yes, folks, 92.5% accuracy after the audit for scoops from this channel in 2023. We'll try to break it in 2024 and go even higher, to the chagrin of the mainstream. This out of Variety by Jennifer Mass, taking stock of 2023, how shares of Disney, Netflix, Warner Brothers, Discovery, and more fared this year. Folks, we're going to bring to you something brand new, something quite dangerous that the Disney company faces in 2024. It's time to initiate this conversation so that channels all around, as well as the mainstream drive-by journalists, can attach themselves to this new narrative forming. We'll start it, though, right here in this video. Hollywood had a rough year in many areas, but the stock market largely was not one of them. I would say this is the opposite of the truth, and we're going to demonstrate it almost immediately. Wall Street is poised to finish out 2023 up double digits. As of December 27th, the S&P 500 index has climbed 25% year to date. Remember this number, folks, and is nearing an all-time high record close. And in general, the majority of media companies saw their shares rise over the past 12 months, rebounding from a disastrous 2022. Now, as we dive into this, folks, remember, this is not a financial advice channel. We are not giving you financial advice. If you need financial advice, seek out a financial advisor who is reputable, who also is credentialed, and who is trustworthy in your area. Some experienced significant reversal in stock performance led by Roku, up 134% between January 3rd and December 26th, as investors regained enthusiasm for its streaming outlook amid the company's cost-cutting moves. Other gainers were Lionsgate at 89%, Amazon at 79%, and Netflix at 67%. Apple was up 55%, Comcast up 26%, and Sony up 22%. Warner Brothers that was supposed to go bankrupt this year, oh wait, it wasn't, it never was, and all of the drive-bys who were following that story for about an entire week, they've all jumped off that ship and memory hold it. We never reported such nonsense. And AMC Networks up 15%. Those with smaller bumps, but bumps nonetheless, include Endeavor at 12%, Disney at 2.2%, and IMAX at 2%. Now, why does any of this matter, and why should you continue to watch this video? Well, let's get down to brass tacks right now, folks. Here's the deal. The Walt Disney Company grew at 2.2% at a time when the stock market grew at what do we have here? 25%. Now, think about those numbers. In other words, if Disney had just grown at the same rate as the rest of the average stocks out there, Disney would have increased 25%. And instead, Disney only grew by 2.2%. That's essentially a 23% miss, 23 percentage points that Disney missed just the average stock out there. In fact, if you had invested in just a general S&P 500 index fund of some sort, you'd be far better off than if you'd invested in Disney in 2023. Again, no financial advice here. Think about it this way. If Disney was in a situation where the market had not grown at all, then relative to that, Disney would be down 23% if the market had stayed exactly where it was year to year. That's because Disney is significantly lagging the other entertainment entities. I mean, look at this. When you see Lionsgate up 89, Amazon up 79, Netflix up 67, and Disney is up 2.2%, then you can see that's a real problem because Disney is way behind the average growth. And if the stock market were to change and drop, then Disney seems to be in a position where it might drop more precipitously. But why, folks? Why does that matter? Why do you care? Why am I talking? It's an easy answer. Take a look at this. Iconic companies dropped from the Dow. This is the story. This is what we need to be paying attention to in 2024. I'm giving you I'm giving you the info right now that this is something to pay attention to. And if it should happen, then we were here on day one telling you that in 2024, the Walt Disney Company is in grave danger. Here's what it is. The Dow Jones Industrial Average is the most well known stock market barometer in the world. Since its inception in May 1896, the index has changed its components dozens of times. The first change occurred a mere 3 months after the index was founded. One recent adjustment took place in June 2018 when Walgreens Boots Alliance replaced General Electric. The most recent changes occurred on August 24, 2020, when Salesforce, Amgen, and Honeywell were added to the Dow, replacing ExxonMobil, Pfizer, and Raytheon Technologies. GE, ExxonMobil, and Pfizer aren't the only famous names to be dropped from the Dow Index. Other U.S. household names have gotten the boot over the decades, and more are sure to face the same fate in the future. None of the original companies on the index remain. Now, why are some of these dropped? Well, some of these are dropped because of major issues. So, for example, what are the criteria for inclusion in the Dow? The Dow includes 30 large blue chip American stocks, but the methodology is largely subjective and does not follow a fixed quantitative rule. The stocks that are included tend to be exemplars of important sectors of the U.S. economy, have a strong track record of growth, and are of interest to a large number of investors. Let's read it again, folks. We need to read this again to understand why I am presenting to you that one of the biggest dangers Disney faces in the year 2024 is that they could potentially be dropped from the Dow 30. Let's read it again. The Dow includes 30 large chip blue American stocks, but the methodology is largely subjective, does not follow a fixed quantitative rule. But here's what we pay attention to. The stocks that are included tend to be exemplars of important sectors of the U.S. economy, have a strong track record of growth, and be of interest to a large number of investors. Two of those three criteria are now gone for Disney. Disney is no longer, in the minds of so many, an exemplar for entertainment. Disney no longer has a strong track record of growth. And Nelson Peltz and the Trian Group, who are preparing to wage a proxy war with Disney to get seats on the board, they're declaring in cold, hard facts that Disney has not been a company of growth. So who's currently in the Dow Jones Industrial Average? 3M, American Express, Amgen, Apple Inc., Boeing, Caterpillar, Chevron, the list goes on. But what's at the very bottom? The Walt Disney Company. And the Walt Disney Company has been in the Dow 30 since 1991, before Bob Iger. This is the Eisner era when Disney was brought in the Dow 30. Now, if Disney were to be dropped from the Dow 30, it would definitely be because of Iger. It would happen under his tenure. Eisner would have brought it in, and Iger would have taken it out. Now, why do we think that this might happen? Beyond the fact that Disney in 2023 trailed the rest of the market by about 23 percentage points in comparison to just the overall standard average rise in the market. Well, let's go to the statement from Trian Partners as Nelson Peltz prepares for the proxy war. And in particular, we're going to go down to this paragraph right here. For shareholders, this subpar performance has destroyed value. Disney stock has underperformed the stocks of Disney's self-selected proxy peers and the broader market over every relevant period during the last decade and during the tenure of each non-management director. And what's that saying? It is saying just what we showed you with the article from Variety. Remember the Variety article where it says Hollywood had a rough year in many areas, but the stock market largely was not one of them. And then it goes on to show that, well, actually, these non-tech entertainment companies, Amazon, Apple, Comcast, Sony, the non-tech ones had pretty rough time. And Disney leads in the tough times. What this is saying out of Nelson Peltz and Trian is that this goes way beyond 2023, that this is a long-term underperformance. Continuing on, furthermore, it has underperformed since Bob Iger was first appointed CEO in 2005. a period during which he has served as CEO or executive chairman for all but 11 months. Disney shareholders were once over $200 billion wealthier than they are now. Folks, what's happening right now is that the narrative is being changed, and we are watching, and we will be talking about this in great detail in the next days. We are watching those who continue to try to carry the water for Disney. They're becoming much more desperate, and the propaganda about Disney it's just insanity. And we'll show that to you in future videos. But that's because this is getting harder and harder to defend, because this document is objective. Now, it comes to subjective analysis conclusions, but in terms of the data, it's undeniable. Indeed, investors were $200 billion wealthier before. And indeed, Disney has, since Iger took over, underperformed the market in general. Read this next paragraph. Unfortunately, the board and CEO appear to have no conviction that things will get better. The non-management directors collectively own less than $15 million of Disney stock, and Mr. Iger has sold the vast majority of his ownership stake, built up primarily through share-based compensation, more than $1 billion of Disney stock, leaving shareholders alone to face the daunting reality of a complex turnaround in a rapidly evolving industry. It's calling out the Disney management that apparently they don't have the confidence enough such that they would own massive quantities of Disney stock. And what this is doing is it's forcing the mainstream to take notice, and the financial mainstream to take notice, that Disney is a behemoth that has not been at the forefront of growth in comparison to the rest of the market. And why does all of that matter? Why does it go beyond what we've talked about in the past about, well, Disney stock may suffer, or Trian may get a seat on the board? Let's remind again, the Walt Disney Company sitting there on the Dow 30, it's considered a stalwart. It's considered a beacon. It's considered an exemplar of the entertainment industry. Why should Disney sit there when it is 23 percentage points below the average market growth level? Why should it sit there when it has underperformed since 2005? Why should it sit there when it's facing such challenges versus essentially any other entertainment company which is excelling and exceeding what Disney is doing? And I'm here to tell you that if Disney is dropped as the entertainment exemplar from the Dow 30 in 2024, will be a tremendous blow to the legacy of Bob Iger. Folks, this is one of those stories that is not yet being covered anywhere until now. And we're happy to bring it to you as we begin our journalistic endeavors of excellence here on the Pro Channel. It's a joy to bring this to you and say, this is something to watch. This is important. This could be a side effect. It could be a direct result of the proxy war. And it's something that Disney will have to navigate. Can they protect themselves? Can they stay on the Dow 30? Can they fend off Nelson, Peltz, and Trian? Can they prevent Jay Rasulo, the former CFO, from getting on the board? We don't know. We're also watching as many companies out there are dropping DEI and ESG so that they do not DIE from losses associated with those efforts. Yet Disney seems more strong-willed in that area than ever before. All of this is intriguing, folks, but this is the story to pay attention to in 2024 that nobody yet is talking about, but now they are. Thanks for joining us. Folks, if you like content like this, consider clicking the like button, share, subscribe. When you click it, you stick it to the algorithms. It's the notification bell. Drop a comment down below. Let us know your thoughts. And folks, wherever you are and whatever you're doing, keep learning, keep growing, keep having fun, and Happy New Year.